this video, I'm going to walk you through how we generated over $2 million this month alone for one of our supplement and health brands using Google and YouTube ads, and the best of all, on a ROAS of almost 10 times. As you can see here on the screen, we have this month, January 1st to January 30, which is today. We still have tomorrow and the end of the day today, but as you can see here, we spent $249,000, made back $2,200,000 on a CPA of $86, and I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page so you can see that that's real data. Google's attribution window, there's still sales to be counted for here, especially during the last 7 days. If you know, we have the attribution window. Also here, if you look at the campaigns, you see that if we sort here by the campaigns where we spent the most, the strategy is basically based around Performance Max. So we have a Performance Max here, both non-branded and branded. Also, the second highest spending campaign is a completely non-branded campaign. So that's very important within the Google Ads context. Here we have the branded campaign with the spend level at around $50K per month. We want to make sure we are very competitive. Also here for the non-branded side, here's another non-branded campaign with $47,000 in spend. And more recently, we have been exploring quite a lot with demand generation and YouTube, which has proven to be a fantastic channel for top of funnel acquisition. So as you can see here, we have demand generation, and we are spending quite a lot at a very high 7 times ROI. Also search campaigns and shopping campaigns as other tests. We have more campaigns. We have hundreds of campaigns on this account, but these are the best performing campaigns at the moment. That's just for the month of January. Now, going over the case study, going over the details of this brand, and I cannot disclose the brand and I cannot disclose their strategy, but I can give some insights into their numbers and the average order value, and also on some of the strategies that we are doing. So if we look here at the overview, we generated $2,270,000 just from Google and YouTube ads alone, and we spent $248,000. So the blended ROAS here is 9.13 times, which is a very, very high number. It's very unusual for wellness supplement brands to see that. That's only possible recently for weight loss brands. In our view, most brands selling more traditional supplements, naturally they will have a lower ROAS. CPA around 86 for this brand. Anything below 200 CPA is fantastic. So we are at less than half, which is why we are still scaling. In December, we were at a much lower spend level, and these results are primarily driven through Google Search, Performance Max, and YouTube. So if we go to the overview of the business of the brand, the direct-to-consumer supplement / weight loss / health brand selling a GLP-1 solution. So they're focused on metabolic and weight management solutions. They have a more premium positioning with a very high AOV offer, but also framed in a way that makes a lot of sense compared to their competitors, and paid acquisition is the primary growth channel. Their Instagram profile is not big whatsoever. It's actually a very small Instagram profile. They don't have a lot of social presence. It's mainly based around paid acquisition. Meta is their main channel in terms of volume, not CPA, but volume, and Google, which we manage here at Leadways, is their best channel when it comes to profitability and CPA. And looking at their funnel, we are going to go into detail on their funnel, but we have dedicated landing pages. A lot of the performance comes from the homepage, which is not very usual, but the funnel is very well established there. The performance and the quiz, I'll get more in detail about that. They have education first approach. The pages are very much about education and explaining these kinds of products. We need to have that level of very deep content on the page, make people understand what it is about, things like that, to increase conversion rate. And we have a very well defined flow, a funnel that will lead people to the sale. The landing page strategy here, if we look at the core of what's working and why pages are such an important part of achieving those results alongside what we are doing on Meta. This brand is not using generic product pages. They have a very custom funnel. The main things that we have, homepage is receiving the majority of the traffic. We have other pages as well with offers and different angles, but the core of performance comes from the homepage, then go into a quiz funnel. So this quiz has a lot of qualifying questions about their people's sleep, context about their life, who they are, what their goals are, if they took this medication in the past. And this helps quite a lot by filtering them to their specific funnel they have to go through within the quiz. Throughout the quiz, we have before and after pictures, which always help. We are creating more social proof, and the journey is extremely easy to understand. The questions are very well thought out to make it extremely easy for people to understand what they're buying, the quantity, price points, how it works, how to take the product, etc. We explain about the product in the copy in general. We explain about the problem, then we go over the mechanism, and then the solution narrative. The copy goes very deep here. We have also long form advertorial style landing pages for different audiences, for different people. These angles are an additional part of performance. They are not the core of performance, but they help a lot with top of funnel, and we intentionally add some friction to qualify the traffic that we are sending and converting. Now, in terms of price points, AOV, and lifetime value strategy, that's key here for any supplement brand, wellness, health brand. Lifetime values / subscriptions are a huge thing, especially as CPAs naturally go up. So we are 100% focused on that for supplement brands here at Leadways, also for weight loss brands, especially for weight loss brands. And here, in terms of pricing, they have a starting price of $179 a month, but that translates to an average order value of $797 because they select the bundle, they select what they're going for, and then they pay up front. The product is recurring, and we have a very high lifetime value. These metrics on Google, some of them are repeated purchases, but most of them are first-time purchases without considering repeated subscriptions and repeated payments from existing customers. So type of CPA that we are seeing now, and what this does is this allows us having a higher CPA so we can scale further and we can scale even more. Of course, we want to make sure that we are not overspending on branded, that the scale and the CPA happens on a non-branded level. That's very important. Google Ads optimizing for long-term value, not just first purchase ROAS, and a strong alignment between acquisition cost and lifetime value. Metrics are very healthy. We have a lot of space here to grow and to scale even further. Now, in terms of the acquisition strategy, the core channels used, high intent, non-branded search campaigns. That's by far our best performing overall channel within Google. Performance Max campaigns with refreshed creative structures and refreshed creative angles. That's very important. We need to be hitting different angles. We need to be adding a lot to the account as we want to capture more of the market, as we want to be more relevant and show more ads. We have competitors spending quite a lot, so the more creative we can be on the assets, on the banners, on the funnels, the better. YouTube ads supporting upper funnel demand and signal enrichment. So we are driving a lot of performance from YouTube. We are driving a lot of new eyeballs and a lot of impressions that are very competitive cost from YouTube, and then other campaigns will convert those audiences, this traffic later on. Here we are focusing on customer acquisition, and we have competitor campaigns as well, working really well, being very competitive. Competitors are also bidding on us, so it's a constant war there to make sure that we are always capturing all the branded terms and also advertising on some of the competitors' terms, and continuous creative testing. And very important, the performance was driven by cold traffic and not dependent on brand/branded terms, which is something a lot of brands, unfortunately, that's all they can do on their Google channel. They can only perform on their branded terms. They cannot profitably drive new customers through Google Ads because they cannot dominate the non-branded side. Now, in terms of creative, feed, and CRO improvements, this is very important in the process. That's a huge part of Google. We're not just changing bids. There's a strategic creative part and CRO part to Google. We launched new statics and video batches, creative batches with a lot of diversion of content, a lot of different angles, a lot of different just new signals for Google to go after new customers. We tested multiple advertorial angles aligned with compliance, of course, refined the feed elements. So we are advertising on shopping. That's a huge part of the search of Google in general. So we optimized the titles. We had multiple variations of the products. We made sure that the images were just the best if we compare to competitors, and also the description. So it was extremely precise. When someone searched, they saw our shopping listing, and we improved the messaging and also made sure that the ads talked specifically about what would be shown to them on a landing page level. That helped us increase the quality score and outbid competitors. CPA improvements came from relevance and clarity, not just bidding changes. So the scaling methodology here, we basically, if we compare to December, we were at around 3,000 per day in ad spend. In January, we went to over 10,000 per day and further than that. So the way to do that, the way to scale that way, we cannot always do that because the CPA would skyrocket. But here, the way we did that is we increased the budget progressively as the CPA allowed us. We never scale if the CPA explodes. So we gradually scale. The strong campaigns were scaled, the weaker ones were replaced. As per usual, we were continuously monitoring the CPA against the volume, the seasonal demand rebound. So if we look at the last days of December in general is usually a bit slow. Then January, especially for supplements, weight loss, is a very good month. So that definitely helped by giving us more demand, and with that the spend went to over 10,000 a day. Results, as I mentioned in the beginning, 200k spent, 250k spent, 2,270,000 made back on a 9.13 times ROAS. So far we're going to have results even better than that if we consider we still have some more time in January, and also the attribution window has not fully attributed sales. We should expect more, at least 10 to 15% in the sales volume here. So what this shows us is that the account absorbed this scale efficiently. Not all accounts are ready to scale like this. The CPA remained under control, so we increased the spend very boldly, and the CPA remained very under control. So that's something that you can be a little more aggressive sometimes if you have, of course, a good structure, if tracking is in place, if everything is in place. The structure, funnel, and lifetime value economics were fully aligned. The quiz was well thought out. The economics, the numbers, everything was planned beforehand, and only then we were able to achieve those numbers. We worked with this brand for over a year at this point, so it was a construction, of course, to get to this point. A few key takeaways: high AOV recurring products pair extremely well with Google. Attribution and structure must come before scale. As I mentioned, you have to build up the funnel and the account and prepare for that level of scale. Landing pages and pricing are definitely key acquisition levers here. They need to be very well set up, and they need to make sense for the customer at the end of the day. And temporary pullbacks often unlock massive upside. So in December, we had a massive tracking change, and only after we completely solved this new tracking change, only after we re-warmed up the account, we were able to scale. So if you are already spending on Google and YouTube ads for your supplement, wellness, health brand, weight loss brand, and you feel capped, you cannot truly acquire customers, you cannot really make Google a profitable channel, this is exactly the type of problem we solve every single day for lots of brands, and we've worked with huge names in the industry. If you'd like to work with us, click the first link in the description and book a call. I will be happy to look at your brand, look at your account, and see where we can get it. With that said, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching this case study, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.